At the network, and we're live across America on this radio station or cable system and around the world at crntalk.com. So many ways to get us: Apple, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. You can find us. Hey, listen, when next we meet Dan Cadman, Senior Fellow at the Center for Immigration Studies, he's a retired INS ICE official. His report: the ICE director needs to be schooled in the law. Marshall Frank, retired captain, Metro-Dade Police Department, editorial columnist for Florida Today newspaper, looking at his latest, including minimum standards for president needs upgrade. Yes, they do. Right now, let's go to J.B. Williams, founder of Patriots Union. Jim is a staunch conservative, actively engaged in returning the power to the right people in America. Businessman, husband, father, writer. No-nonsense commentator on American politics, American history, and American philosophy. He's published nationwide and in many countries around the world. You can find his articles at newswithviews.com. JB, how are you, sir?
I'm quite well. Chuck, how are you, sir?
Pretty good. But I'm going to tell you, I had a lot of guests that commented because I was talking about you coming on in the name of your article we were going to talk about, ignorant American voters, now the greatest threat to America, and they were all saying, boy, yeah, you got to agree with that. Yes, sir. So you hit a good one this time and a perfect title, and it kind of falls under the new breed of the American citizen, doesn't it?
It does. Unfortunately, I've had a lot of reader feedback on it, and I can tell by what people's comments are, whether they read the column or just the headline, or how far in the column they read. And, of course, anytime you use a word like ignorant, people assume you're talking about someone other than them.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a good topic for today, and let's clarify exactly what we're talking about in that column and in several columns really preceding it. Yeah.
Well, it's the way the border's changing and our immigration policy and I've had guests on here. I'm trying to think. I think it was Marilyn Barnwell. I might have mentioned this to you before. Was talking about one of the reasons that we have an influx of all these illegal aliens coming from other countries. They are coming from countries that, truthfully, most of them accept socialism. They would never even believe there was such a thing as the Bill of Rights or the Constitution. And therefore, they are easier to maintain, if you want to use those words. I know that sounds like, outer space or something, but if you're not used to freedom, it's an easy way to deprive you of it, I guess. I mean, this is just, my rattling on here. But
well, I mean, I think as far as what you're talking about at the moment, I think what you're saying is true. If someone immigrates, whatever, to the United States, and they're coming from a third world country, or they're living in a country which is under totalitarian regime of one sort or another, Islam, communism, Marxism, Maoism. There's all these isms out there that most people in America think died years ago but didn't. But these people that come to our country from these other parts of the world, you could quite easily leave the third world country under total dictatorial rule and think that Marxism in America is a great thing. You could very well think that Marxism is much better than where you came from. Whereas someone born, raised, and familiar with America's history and foundations would think that Marxism is a completely terrible thing, which, of course, they'd be right. And so as the demographics of the voting population changed, so did the sentiments.
And, JB, it has come to a point, for example, in the American public schools, it's no longer God bless America, it's multiculturalism. And, boy, look what that did to the people over in Europe, United Kingdom. The interesting thing here, and I got to tell the listener, you should really get a copy of this. I say this constantly when JB's on here. Get a copy of this and pass it on. Second paragraph. J.B. states, "Our nation's founders did their level best to create a system of self-governance." There was all these safeguards in it, and it's, I guess the number one safeguard was the 3 co-equal branches of the federal government. And if you get a king or a dictator or a president that acts like one of the two or both, I think they kind of forget about our founding fathers. They were probably over the hill and didn't know what they were talking about.
Years ago, they would not have been so bold as to say the types of things they now feel completely free to say, and that things like, the Constitution is outdated and outmoded. It really needs to be rewritten. We need a new Constitution. In fact, they've drafted new replacement constitutions which read nothing like the original Constitution. They feel at liberty at this point in history to say anything they want. Capitalism is terrible, which means, of course, the opposite of that. Communism must be good. And they feel completely liberated to be able to say whatever they want. America is a terriblest imperialist country. Places like Iran are not and deserve to have free reign of nuclear weaponry. I mean, we are so upside down and inside out at this point in this society that it's really no wonder that the average American is having trouble telling which end is up. But, still, the idea that a politician, I don't care which politician you want to talk about, the idea that a politician is going to turn things around, I think Americans should have figured out long before now that's not going to be the case. The American people are going to have to turn the tide here, or it's not going to be turned.
When you talk about the founding fathers and the co-equal branches, J.B. says, in this extraordinary effort, they installed countless checks and balances to make possible the ongoing protection of all natural rights established for the people in our charters of freedom. And one of those measures, and this is going to be our primary discussion, was a set of few but strict conditions for the high political office, an effort to make certain that only true Americans with no foreign entanglements or alliances would hold the reins of political power in America. These guys knew what they were talking about and writing about.
They did, and they wrote in plain English, not in legalese, so that the average American citizen, by and for the government exists, would not need a legal scholar to help them understand what was in the Constitution. If you are dependent upon anyone else for your understanding of your rights, then your rights are limited to what that person tells you your rights are. They did not write the Constitution or the Bill of Rights or any amendment since, or the Declaration of Independence in legalese. They could have written it in legalese. Most of them were quite learned in the law. And in legalese and legal terminologies, but they did not do that. They chose to write it in simple, plain English so that anyone with probably a 3rd or 4th or 5th grade reading comprehension skill could understand exactly what their natural rights were. And, fundamentally, people are having trouble in America even understanding that their rights are natural rights. They think they have constitutional rights. That's not true. What you have is constitutionally natural rights. And but if you don't understand what those protections are, then you don't have any rights at all.
Yeah, I was thinking, and it may be in this article, about they complain, a lot of the progressives and people that don't know is, they say all men are created equal. They left out the women. How can you do something like that? You can't follow something where it says all men. Well, they didn't say all men, women, transsexuals, did they?
No, and they also did not exclude women. They didn't say all white men. They didn't say, all European descent men. They didn't say any of that. They just said all men. And in that case, the use of the term men in our founding documents means mankind, all of mankind.
Right.
And so, and I saw a column yesterday, day before, who Tom Hartman is, and I do too. He's a long-time hardcore leftist was associated with Jane Fonda and the anti-war movement during Vietnam, Weather Underground and Bill Ayers and those fellows. And it was, he put out a column the other day that said, can Hillary Clinton really be president when all of the references in Article 2 to who can be president are limited to he. There's no she in there. Now, he was taking a tongue-in-cheek swipe at the notion that the Constitution really doesn't mean exactly what it says anywhere in the Constitution. That's what he was trying to do with his people. It was cute. Okay? That's all it was. It was cute. But, and typical of Tom Hartman, actually, or Al Franken, who had hosted the show ahead of him. And so, but the average person will look at that and go, hey, you know what? He may have a point here. Maybe Hillary can't be president because it always says he. Well, it always said he, because there wasn't any she's in politics at that time. But go ahead.
I'm telling you, yeah. It's, well, you know, you could, at one time you could say, you know, those sailors, boy, those guys are something else, aren't they? You can't say that now. No, anyway, but that's, you knew it was coming. Now,
right.
Back to your article, and this very important piece. The most powerful political office in our land, and maybe in the entire world, is the Oval Office, the office of Commander-in-Chief of the entire United States military and national security apparatus. And this office has a very specific eligibility requirement unique to this office alone. And what is that, J.B.?
Well, you know, in recent times, Chuck, I've come to believe they might be the most important three words in the entire document. Natural-born citizen. And the reason why I say that is that those three words alone are intended to make sure that people of foreign entanglement, interest, allegiance are prevented from ever holding that office. And if you can just imagine, putting this in terms that the average person can relate to better, you know, if you can just imagine the notion there's a lot of sports fans, so I'll choose sports today. If you can just imagine teams taken to the field in the Super Bowl, winning the all season long, working their way to the Super Bowl, but when they get to the Super Bowl, the big enchilada, right? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, they have to, anybody can coach the team. Anybody can coach the team.
Right.
The head coaches are pulled out. Coaches who've never coached a sport before are put in. Coaches with political agendas or people they don't like on the other team are put there. They're flip-flopped. You know, it's ridiculous, the notion that someone who has foreign entanglements or foreign allegiances of any kind should ever hold the office of Commander-in-Chief. We all know one does at the moment, but he should be the last one who ever does, and yet it appears that may not be the case.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll continue more from this excellent article, Ignorant American Voters, Now the Greatest Threat to America. Going to talk about a recent online survey that J.B. will tell you about. Interesting. J.B. Williams, founder of Patriots Union. It's patriotsunion.org, jb-williams.com, and you can read this one at News with Views. News with Views, that's views with an S.com. Be right back.
You order a glass of your favorite Cabernet, fresh asparagus, hollandaise on the side, a filet, medium rare. You unfurl your napkin with a flair, close your eyes, and prepare to listen. Ah, there it is. The sweet music you long to hear. The sizzle. The sizzle of a Ruth's Chris steak.
The most magnificent corn-fed prime beef, broiled to perfection at 1,800 degrees. Some call it a sizzle. We call it an anthem.
As the waiter approaches, you think, is this one mine or that one?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at ruthschris.com or by calling 800-544-0808.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-351-8614. That's 800-351-8614. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-351-8614.
For over 20 years, you've trusted Lumber Liquidators to make high-quality, beautiful flooring affordable for everyone. Delivering this value means you get the floor you want at the low price you deserve. So we've lowered prices even more. This week, get beautifully distressed click-strand bamboo. It's easy to install, and now it's $229. That's about half what you'll pay at other stores. Plus 200 styles of pre-finished hardwood from $169 and 12-month special financing. You trust our value. We value your trust. For quality hardwood, see the flooring experts today. Visit lumberliquidators.com to find a store near you.
Hi, this is Ron Sedgy, inviting you to join me for The Tonight Show of Radio every Saturday night, 9 to 11 Pacific Standard Time on CRN Digital Talk Radio. Now in our 24th year and well over 19,000 guests, The Ron Sedgy Show live originates from our Universal Radio studios. Celebrities from TV, music, movies, literature, politics, and show business, at one time or another, they all come to The Ron Sedgy Show. So why don't you?
Everybody's talking at me.
My guest, J.B. Williams, founder of Patriots Union, and let's talk about this survey. J.B., tell the listeners how this worked.
Well, from time to time, I monitor what's going on Facebook and other social media pages and what people's sentiments are. And now and then I will create a online poll to try to test people's reaction to certain ideas. This particular poll I put up a couple of days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, and it got about 150 or so responses, votes within an hour or two, and that was enough for me to run with the poll results for the column. And the question in the poll was very straight ahead and nonpartisan. I asked, do you believe that 14th Amendment anchor babies and illegal undocumented resident aliens or illegal immigrants are natural-born citizens of the United States eligible for the office of president? And astonishingly, despite all the debate out there over what natural-born citizen means, 100% of the respondents got it right. The answer is no.
100%.
100%.
Said
now,
no.
Now this was conservative Facebook groups. This wasn't Obama's Facebook page or anything. But when
and interestingly, I'll just tell the listener, nobody said yes or nobody said I don't know. And once again, the question, I have the question a little bit different than what you read, but I think it's basically the same. Do you believe that 14th Amendment anchor babies and undocumented citizens are natural-born citizens eligible for the Oval Office? That's kind of like it in a nutshell, right?
That's it in a nutshell. And 100% of the respondents got it right. I wasn't reading it. I was just paraphrasing from memory. But,
yeah, because you had added the word illegal, undocumented illegal citizens. Yeah, I
think I think I said undocumented citizen in the actual question, right?
Yeah, okay.
But for the listener, I was trying to be clear what I meant.
But see, you're not leaning it one way or the other. I was thinking that automatically because you didn't say illegal aliens. You know what I'm saying? It was just undocumented citizens. What more could they ask for? That's right. It's future citizens, I think, is another word they want to be called. Anyway.
Right. In fact, I point out later in the column that the term undocumented citizen is an oxymoron itself. If you're not documented, you're not a citizen. So it's bizarre, world that we're living in here with all these new phrases and terminologies. We can't figure out what old terms mean, but we can make up new ones every 5 seconds, it seems. And so nobody's sure what those mean either, even especially if they're an oxymoron. But, I asked the question because a large number of those respondents, I'm sure, currently support either an anchor baby or an undocumented citizen of the United States for presidential nomination in 2016 on the side of the Republican Party.
Well, I like the way you did this because it's sort of like we have good news and we have bad news. All right?
Yeah.
Because your good news was you said that it means all those people, that said no, they're not qualified, all know that the March 2015 Harvard Law Review essay clearing both Barack Obama and Senator Ted Cruz for Oval Office is total nonsense based on the 14th Amendment naturalization codes. Then, and we got a minute left, what the bad news, which you just now started touching on, is go ahead. You do it because it's your article.
Well, the good news is clearly conservative Americans engaged in the process. They know what a natural-born citizen is not. He's not an anchor baby, and he's not an undocumented citizen or an illegal alien or a resident alien. Well, they know what it's not. And yet, they seem to have trouble connecting the dots between that knowledge, which they possess quite clearly, and the candidates that they are currently supporting, which are described by those same terms.
So then you get to an anchor baby, all right, is a child born in the United States to foreign parents. Misuses of our immigration and naturalization statuses allow that child to be a U.S. citizen at birth, and this is under the 14th Amendment, then becoming an anchor under which the parents and other family members can take a shortcut to the U.S. citizenship by attaching to the anchor baby. These are naturalized citizens. You notice I didn't say natural born. They are naturalized citizens, and their citizenship basically solely upon the 14th Amendment naturalization statutes. And in just a moment, we'll be talking about Marco Rubio, for example. We'll get into him first when we come back from the break. Excellent article, as usual, from J.B. Williams, founder of Patriots Union, patriotsunion.org. That's Patriots with an S, union.org.
Welcome to Staples. How can I help you?
Hey, Staples guy. I need to promote my new business and do it on budget.
I can make that happen.
Can you print business cards?
Staples can print business cards, brochures, banners.
Pens?
Pens, magnets, luggage tags.
Calendars.
Calendars, sticky notes, lawn signs, and window decals.
What about foam fingers?
What color? Red, yellow, blue.
You had me at yellow.
Make on budget happen, make getting noticed happen. Staples, make more happen. Now at Staples, get 40% off large banners, posters, and lawn signs.
Offer valid on all large banners, posters, and lawn signs in store and online and 6/27/15. Discount applied before taxes. May not be combined with any other offer. See store or staples.com/signs for details.
It's the biggest flooring event of the year. Lumber Liquidators 12th annual April sale with 5 days of unbelievable clearance deals from 29 cents. Don't miss once-in-a-lifetime prices on solid pre-finished Bellawood domestic hardwood from an incredible 99 cents or Bellawood 3/4-inch exotic hardwood up to 77% off. Bamboo, laminate, and more up to 67% off. Plus more deals added daily in your local store and 24-month special financing for beautiful high-quality hardwood floors for less. Get to the April sale event today. Visit lumberliquidators.com to find a store near you.
Have you ever considered adding a home security system but thought it would be too expensive? Here's the good news. There's never been a more affordable time to help protect your home, valuables, and your loved ones. You can now get a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home, your authorized ADT dealer, with the installation of a new ADT monitored system. Here's even better news. Your new system, worth $850, is free. You pay just a $99 installation charge and purchase monthly monitoring for less than $2 a day. Call Protect Your Home today at 1 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. Get the peace of mind that comes with owning an ADT monitored system, plus a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home. Call now, 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. 36-month monitoring contract required. General terms and conditions apply. Visit protectyourhome.com/terms.
You're experiencing pain, back pain, shoulder, elbow, or hand pain from a sports injury. If so, schedule a visit with Dr. Michael Sheps, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic T, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Sheps developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Sheps has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Sheps at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com. 310-873-4422.
When you really want Italian food, you've got to go to Columbo's. Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club, Colorado Boulevard, Eagle Rock. Is that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you? It's springtime in the Southland, and the yucca filamatusa are in bloom, and so is the hunger and thirst for good times. Palate-pleasing, mouth-watering steaks, yes! Neptune's gifts of the freshest fish direct from the seven seas, oh yes! Columbo's delectable Italian family specialities that shame the competition. Yes, jazz every night, check. All at such reasonable prices. Yes, yes, yes. And might I add one more yes? Thank you. Let us not forget their award-winning meatballs. Oh, yes. Columbo's. It's more than the stuff of urban legend. It is that good. Columbo's, because it really is that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Columbo's. Yes. Manja.
Everybody's talking at me.
CRN Digital Talk Radio, Chuck Wilder with J.B. Williams discussing this excellent article, News with Views, and ignorant American voters, now the greatest threat to America. You know, you're not supposed to get away with things that are more or less set in stone. For example, if you don't pay your taxes, you go to jail, right? Unless you're Al Sharpton or you sneaky lawyer, stuff like that. And I'll just set this one more time. The nation's founders, establishing strict conditions for high political office. President of the United States, the office of Commander-in-Chief, has a very specific eligibility requirement unique to this office alone, that of no other but a natural-born citizen. You know, think of NBC, natural-born citizen. So now let's go to Marco Rubio first here. Go ahead, JB.
Well, Marco is the most recent Republican to enter the race, and he has great political ambitions, and he's got a pretty smile, and he's got a pretty family, and he sometimes says things... No, he sometimes says things people like and sometimes says things they don't like, and he flip-flops back and forth like most politicians do. But his biggest problem is Marco Rubio is an anchor baby. His claim to U.S. citizenship is limited only to being born on U.S. soil. His parents being legal citizens of Cuba at the time of his birth and remaining so until several years after his birth when they naturalized to the United States, by taking the shortcut through anchor baby Marco. And so Marco Rubio is what is termed an anchor baby. And yes, I'm quite aware that it's politically incorrect to use that term today, just like it's politically incorrect to use the term illegal alien, although those are the terms that exist in our naturalization codes. And so it's not politically incorrect for him to be the law, but apparently it is politically incorrect to talk about what the law says.
Right.
But Marco Rubio was born in Florida, and his claim to citizenship is his birth on American soil to two foreign parents. Well, that's the definition of anchor baby. And despite the fact that 100% were able to quickly say no, an anchor baby is not eligible, some of those people who said no will be supporting Marco Rubio without realizing that he is, in fact, an anchor baby.
Because, and you can see their point, JB. You know what I'm saying is that when they're not watching American Idol or sports or whatever, right, they just look at it. Oh, he was born in America. He was born on this soil. Therefore, he is an American. Natural born, no.
Well, and keep in mind that most of the people saying that today who are supporting him have been opposing illegal immigration for years. People being born on American soil to foreign parents without the authority of the federal government or the American people to be here. Most of these people are highly anti-illegal immigration, and yet here they are supporting an anchor baby for president. And again, we're in the twilight zone here, bizarro world, I call it.
I know. Now, and so much good stuff on this, and I'm going to tell the listener there's lots of good stuff in this article, so you got to get it, newswithviews.com. Let's go to Ted Cruz, all right? Unless you really have one more really important thing you want to mention about Marco Polo.
No, not really.
Marco. All right. Ted Cruz, all right. Now, tell us about him. I know he was born in Canada.
Okay, so he cannot make the same claim that Marco made. He's not an anchor baby. He's not the same thing that Marco is. He's not claiming his citizenship as a result of being born on soil. His birth records say clearly that he was born in Canada, Calgary, Alberta. And so in around 1970, I don't remember his exact birth date, his parents migrated from here. His father was living in the United States on a green card with political asylum from Cuba before he married, and they moved to Canada. And approximately 1966. So they lived in Canada for about 4 years. According to Ted's father, they applied for and became Canadian citizens while living in Canada. And then Ted was born in Canada in 1970. They remained there for another 4 years till 1974 when they moved back to Texas. Now, according to what I just said and what the facts say, that means Ted would have been born in Canada, a son of two Canadian citizens at the time of his birth, and that would have made him what his birth certificate says he is, which is a native-born citizen of Canada.
Right.
And we know on the back end of that story that he remained a legal citizen of Canada until May 14th of 2014.
May 14th, 2014. You know, that wasn't that long ago. That's when he renounced his Canadian citizenship. So the Ayatollah Khomeini could come to Iran, from Iran to America, say, I denounce my citizenship from, I'm getting carried away here. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're not. I mean, what they're suggesting here is exactly that. They're saying, well, the Ayatollah could come to the United States and renounce his citizenship in Iran, and that'll
run for president.
That'll automatically make him a natural-born citizen of the United States, and he can be president. That's what they're saying. Now, the cherry pickers, the hair splitters out there will say, no, because the Ayatollah didn't have a mother who was at one time in her life a U.S. citizen. Well, we don't know that about the Ayatollah yet, and we also don't know that about Ted yet.
And you know I think one of the most important things, JB, about Ted Cruz is May 14th, 2014, coming up on 1 year. He hasn't been a citizen of the United States for a year yet. Not that far away, but, all of a sudden it's like Cinderella gives you a wish, you know?
Well, I want to interject something right there because you said something really important, okay? And I'll do it in the form of a question. If you renounced your U.S. citizenship today, would that act automatically make you a citizen of some other country?
You know, you got a point there. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so I would be a citizen of Manchurian, right? And I would be a candidate.
You would be a citizen without a country unless you also applied for and received naturalization to a different country at the same time.
Well, actually, you have a citizen without any documentation as a undocumented citizen.
Correct.
Illegal alien,
correct.
resident alien. You got it.
That's correct, and that's exactly why I asked the question the way I did on that Facebook poll, because when you don't attach a party or a name to it, people get it right. But the minute you attach somebody's political affiliation or a candidate's name to it, now all of a sudden they become befuddled by the same exact question. And that's because their political interests get in the way of truth.
Now, at the beginning of the interview, Mr. and Mrs. Listener, you remember when J.B. mentioned undocumented citizen, oxymoron? See, that's what we're talking about here, an undocumented citizen.
If you believe that someone without any documentation is a citizen, in which case we got 13 or 14 million of those living in this country right now.
Well, that was as of the beginning of the show. We've already got another million already here.
That's probably true.
And you know, ISA, they're visiting Juarez right now, and then they're going to go to El Paso, and yeah, you know what I'm saying. Then they'll go to the Carlsbad Caverns in New Mexico. Boy, they got their plans ahead of them. Let's see now. A resident alien, you say. That's what they are. And in their efforts to collect taxes from anywhere they can, the IRS created numerous new classes of citizens. Now, number one, I would say, wait a minute, the IRS decided they're going to create a new class of citizen? Do they have that authority, plus going after conservative groups?
Well, of course, as you know, the IRS is not even part of the federal government. It's a private entity. And they have no constitutional authority whatsoever to do what I just described or what you just read. But, you know, our federal government and their agencies and their private contractors are functioning every day outside of the limits of the constitutional law. So that probably doesn't shock anybody to learn that the IRS is making up new citizenship status as they go.
Wow, I'm telling you. So here you go. You know, Rubio, swift talker, comes up with some good answers. Ted Cruz, same way. He'll say things you like, you know. But see, we had a smooth talker that's been in office way too long, and I refer to him as King Obama. And it's unfortunate, you know, that the conservatives are going to have to depend on some people like that. Now, we have, you know, the Rand Paul. What about him now? When we start checking his credentials,
I don't know that much about Rand, other than that, as far as I know, he's eligible for office. His father.
Well, we know that Mike Huckabee, for example, we know that he's squeaky clean, so to speak, but he didn't do too well in the one election he got in. But he's announcing today. A little bit later on, I guess. So,
yeah, the question, you know, people, there's a couple things I really hope most Americans start thinking about. The first is, if you think any of these politicians are going to turn this country around when you elect them, you're not thinking at all. You've won the 2010 election and gave Republican Party full control of the House, who did nothing with it since then. And in 2014, you fought and gave Republican Party full control of the U.S. Senate. And prior to that election, people were saying, well, we can't impeach him because we don't have control of the Senate. Well, now you do, and you still can't impeach him. Because why? Because there's nobody on either side of the aisle that wants to, that has the courage to. Everybody knows he's the most impeachable person to ever occupy the Oval Office. But it doesn't matter which side of the aisle is quote-unquote in power. Best I can tell, Harry Reid's still running the Senate, by the way. And John Boehner, you know, is running the House the same way he was before the 2014 election cycle. And so, you know, nothing really changes at the outcome of elections anymore. And so one thing I hope people pay attention to here is stop looking for something that does not exist, and that is a political messiah who's going to save the day. They do not exist. And the second thing is, stop pretending like you care about the Constitution while you're supporting people that are blatantly unconstitutional for office. And, what we're going through as a country right now is separating the wheat from the chaff. It's separating the pretend patriot who engages in political wrangling and partisanship, but not real constitutional battles, and real patriots who will do anything to uphold and defend what's in the United States Constitution, recognizing that without doing that, we don't have the United States. And so there's a separation of fake patriots and real patriots underway right now, and they're becoming glaringly obvious. That's one thing we can thank people like Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio for, is helping us identify which ones are real and which ones are fakes.
Now, you also say what makes America the greatest threat to America comes down to two factors. The human tendency to follow that which we want to be true, despite knowing what is true. That's probably about 80% of what we've been talking about. And the tendency to ignore reality in favor of a political fantasy. Let me see here, because I'd marked something here, and we do have time. Actually, it's right towards the very end of your report here. But I wanted to talk about this. I just want to make sure I get it in. That's what I'm trying to say. You're saying two of the people who should have stopped Obama from the U.S. Senate are instead trying to ride his coattails of fraud to the Oval Office themselves. Both are highly trained lawyers, so there's no claiming ignorance of the law. And these two have the backing of the National Tea Party. Global governance only works in America once anyone from anywhere in the world can be commander-in-chief. Now, one of these people you're mentioning is Ben Carson. Okay, you say they're soon going to announce that Ben Carson is entering the race, and they're raising all the money they can get. Ben Carson, kind of interesting because he just joined the Republican Party November 4th, 2014. The day the 2014 midterms took place, he's almost like, what's his name there, waiting almost a year ago to get rid of his Canadian citizenship. Ben Carson, is there any bad luggage you got on this guy?
I don't know a lot about him. Nobody does. I had a friend of mine, personal friend, on a phone call a day or two ago when he heard that Ben was getting ready to introduce or announce. And he asked me what I thought. Well, that friend of mine happens to be an orthopedic surgeon. Uh-huh. And I said to him, Dan, I love you. I think you're a great orthopedic surgeon, and I think you're a good man. I don't think you're otherwise any way qualified to be President of the United States. He said, you know what, you're right. I said, well, that's my answer on Ben Carson.
Yeah, I've always got this thing, and it's unfortunate, and believe it or not, I think I'm dead on, and we're coming up on a break here, but, this charisma, it's a shame how much charisma makes in picking the president. And, for example, I always say that, Abraham Lincoln with that big knot on his cheek there would never make it today, and Ross Perot, and he was too short, and a couple other people, and now I'm trying to think who I was thinking about. Ben Carson, yeah. Too quiet when he talks. He's very quiet. And, well, JB, we got to take a break, and then we're going to be right back.
Okay.
You listen to that on the platform, and, it's good after a while. We'll be right back with J.B. Williams. Don't go away.
Whether you're restoring a classic car, building a hot rod, or just bringing your daily driver back to like-new condition, Steel Rubber Products is your choice for quality automotive rubber parts and weather stripping. As one of the world's award-winning custom car and hot rod builders, Bodie Stroud prefers to work directly with Steel Rubber Products on his award-winning project cars and show vehicles. In addition, Steel Rubber works with top builders like Bodie to confirm the fit and function of its parts. as well as develop new products. So for rubber products that fit like the original, last a lifetime, and look like they should, you can't get a better product anywhere. If your dream ride sounds like this, contact Steel Rubber Products and enjoy a ride that sounds like this. Steel Rubber Products, a difference you can hear and quality you can see. Visit us on the web at www.steelrubber.com or call us at 800-447-0849. And remember, if you want the best, you want Steel Rubber Products.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names.
Really? Yeah.
They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
If you're struggling to find reliable senior living information for your mom or dad, then call or go online to get the free help you need during this turbulent time. Call now, 800-471-5173, 800-471-5173.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Marshall, Ph.D., host of Healthline. Join me live to get your questions answered and hear the latest breakthrough information for you and your family. This month, our Dragon Cleanse LX is on special. This has been studied for its extraordinary ability to bind a wide variety of toxins in the gastrointestinal tract, especially those that have dicarbonyl chemical structures or that bind to calcium-dependent binding sites. Research suggests it doesn't bind beneficial nutrients because of its unique structure. With the ever-increasing amount of toxins in our food and our environment, here's a practical, inexpensive way to mitigate the problem. Buy 2 bottles and get the third one free. Call 800-370-3447. That's 800-370-3447.
Listen to Healthline daily at 2:30 p.m. Pacific, 5:30 p.m. Eastern on CRN.
Everybody's talking at me.
Chuck Wilder here with my guest J.B. Williams, founder of Patriots Union. We have been discussing this latest at newswithviews.com, and it's a attention-grabbing title, Ignorant American Voters, Now the Greatest Threat to America. And you say the real problem remains that the average American voter, who despite knowing the truth, side with the lie believing the political end will justify the unconstitutional means. And if natural-born citizen no longer matters to the average voter, then nothing else in the charters of freedom matters, because you cannot protect the constitutional republic without preventing foreign entities from holding the most powerful office in our land. You know, J.B., talking about charisma, Sarah Palin, for example, I think she might have, been pretty good, possibly as, the First Lady, the President of the United States, but I could only take her voice, seriously, for about a minute and a half, and it just got to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's a shame that something like that will drive you away from someone.
Well, it's also a shame that something so minor will drive people to someone. I watched a video earlier today, one of those interview on the street type videos. It was being done
I think I know the one you're talking about. About the women?
Yeah, asking did they support Hillary Clinton? Yes. Why? Because she's a woman.
Yep.
Interview after interview after interview. This is how, I have said many times, and if it offends people, then it's probably because I'm talking about you, okay? Ignorance, and I taught my kids this from very young. Ignorance is a lack of knowledge, easily remedied with facts. But stupidity is a commitment to ignorance. It's a condition of ignorance despite the facts. Mm-hmm. But we're living in a time right now where people decide what they want to be true, get on the internet, find someone who thinks the same thing, quote them as an expert source on the subject, and then claim that to be the way it is.
And then you got the rolling snowball, you know?
Yes. And then somebody else quotes them, and somebody else quotes them, and the next thing you know, the lie becomes the truth, and people cannot tell up from down anymore. You know, what this column said was people clearly know, at least fundamentally, what a natural-born citizen is not. And what I described in the question on the Facebook page and poll and in the column is exactly the arguments that the Harvard lawyers are making to claim that both Obama and Ted Cruz are natural-born citizens. They're arguing 14th Amendment, anchor baby, and undocumented citizen statutes. That's what they're arguing throughout their whole opinion. And yet, fundamentally, most Americans know that's hogwash, total hogwash.
Well,
but
JB, all out of time.
If it suits their agenda, you know, if it suits their agenda. I want to finish with one thing if there's time, Jeff.
Yeah, go ahead.
1 minute?
Yeah.
So today somebody asked me after reading that, what is one? I said, this is simpler than you think. My name is J.B. Williams. I was an American citizen from birth. I have 2 children, both of them born with my name, Williams, and my country, America. That's what a natural-born citizen is.
Not that hard, is it?
No.
No. Hey, you know, one of these days I'm going to get into your personal life and what influenced you and where do you come up with all these great articles, and I'll save that for another day. J.B. Williams. Go to jb-williams.com, go to patriotsunion.org, or read this article at newswithviews.com. Thank you, JB. Look forward to our next visit.
Be well, Jeff.
All right, and thank you for listening. And please remember that absolutely no presidential candidates were even injured during the production of this program today.
CRN Digital Talk Radio prides itself on being the station of every situation. Of course, you can always listen live through your local cable TV provider, as well as on our website at crntalk.com. But if cutting-edge technology is more your style, you'll be happy to know that CRN is now available on Wi-Fi radio. Simply log on to Reciva.com. That's RECIVA.com and look for CRN. You can access all of our great shows and listen live anywhere in the world. Be part of your favorite shows and get the full CRN listening experience you would have with any traditional radio, podcast, or a live stream from our website. For more information on where or how to listen, and for a full list of our programming, log on to crntalk.com and create your own listening experience today.
The radio channel. The radio channel. CRN.
Welcome to Healthline Live, brought to you every day at this same time, Monday through Friday. Your host is Dr. Bob Marshall, Ph.D., a clinical nutritionist for over 35 years. He's successfully helped more than 50,000 people. That's why he's known for nutrition that really works. And he's here today to share nutritional secrets which have taken years to discover and which he's implemented on his own health journey. The supplements that Dr. Marshall recommends are almost all live source, free of questionable encapsulating agents, and have been created using the highest manufacturing standards available for dietary supplements. Dr. Marshall's comments have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose,